Okay, in this video, I'm going to explain the possible interview questions and answers on pairs of terms that are often confused due to their similarity. Now, let us see that what are that type of words. Now, let us see ductility and malleability. Ductility, the ability of a material to deform under tensile stress, stretching into a thin wire without breaking. Malleability, the ability of a material to be easily hammered, pressed, rolled into thin sheets without breaking. Next question. Voltage and current. Voltage, the electrical potential difference between 2 points in a circuit measured in volts. Current, the flow of electric charge through a conductor measured in amperes. Speed and velocity. Speed, the rate of change of distance traveled by an object regardless of direction. Velocity, the rate of change of displacement of an object including direction. Mass and weight, the amount of matter in an object measured in kilograms or grams. Weight, the force exerted on an object due to gravity measured in newtons or pounds. Heat and temperature. Heat, the transfer of energy between two substances due to temperature difference. Temperature, a measure of the average kinetic energy of particles in a substance. Evaporation and boiling. Evaporation, the process of a liquid turning into a gas at the surface below its boiling point. Boiling, the process in which a liquid rapidly turns into a gas throughout the entire mass when it reaches its boiling point. Fusion and fission. Fusion, the process of combining two light atomic nuclei to form a heavier nucleus, releasing a large amount of energy as in the sun. Fission, the process of splitting a heavy atomic nuclear into two or more lighter nuclei, releasing energy as in nuclear power plants. Conduction and convection. Conduction, the transfer of heat through direct contact between particles of a substance. Convection, the transfer of heat through the movement of a fluid, liquid or gas carrying heat energy from one place to another. Open circuit and short circuit. Open circuit, a circuit in which the path for current to flow is interrupted, resulting in no current flow. Short circuit, a circuit in which the path of current flow has very low resistance, often causing excessive current and potential hazards. Accuracy and precision. Accuracy, how close a measured value is to the true value or target. Precision, the degree of consistency and reproducibility of measurements regardless of their closeness to the true value. Hypothesis and theory. Hypothesis, a proposed explanation for a phenomena often based on limited evidence. Theory, a well-sustained explanation that has withstood extensive testing and validation. Weather and climate. Weather, the short-term atmospheric conditions in a specific place at a specific time. Climate, the long-term average weather patterns in a particular region. Autotroph and heterotroph. Autotroph, an organism that produces its own food through processes like photosynthesis. Heterotroph, an organism that obtains its energy by consuming other organisms. Frequency and period. Frequency, the number of cycles or oscillations of a wave or vibration that occur in a unit of time. Period, the time it takes for one complete cycle of wave or vibration to occur. Potential energy and kinetic energy. The potential energy, energy that an object possesses due to its position or state, such as gravitational potential energy. Kinetic energy, energy an object possesses due to its motion. Isotropic and anisotropic. Isotropic, a material or substance that has the same physical properties in all directions. Anisotropic, a matter or substance that has different physical properties in different directions. Compression and tension, a force of stress that tends to shorten or squeeze a material. Tension, a force or stress that tends to stretch or elongate a material. Rotation and revolution. Rotation, the circular movement of an object around its own axis. Revolution, the orbital motion of an object around another object, such as a planet orbiting a star. Acceleration and deceleration. Acceleration, the rate of change of velocity of an object, including speeding up or slowing down. Deceleration, a type of acceleration where the object's speed decreases, also known as negative acceleration. Endothermic and exothermic. Endothermic, a process that absorbs heat or energy from its surroundings. Exothermic, a process that releases heat or energy to its surroundings. Stress and strain. Stress, the force applied to a material for unit area causing deformation. Strain, the resulting deformation of a material in response to the applied stress. Torque and moment, the turning force applied to a rotating object measured in Newton meters. Moment, the tendency of a force to rotate an object about a point, also measured in Newton meter. Friction and lubrication, the force that opposes the relative motion or tendency of motion between two surfaces in contact. Lubrication, the use of lubrication to reduce friction between moving parts. Stiffness and strength. Stiffness, the resistance of a material or structure to deformation under an applied load. Strength, the ability of a material or structure to withstand an applied load without failure. Static and dynamic loads. Static load, a load that remains constant in magnitude and direction applied gradually over a time. Dynamic load, a load that changes in magnitude and or direction, often involving rapid or cyclic variations. Creep and plastic deformation. Creep, the gradual deformation of a material under a constant load over time, typically at elevated temperatures. Plastic deformation, permanent deformation of a material behind its elastic limit occurring under high stress. Kinematics and dynamics. Kinematic, the study of motion without considering the forces causing the motion. Dynamics, the study of motion taking into account the forces and torques that causes it. Buckling and yielding. Buckling, a sudden unstable deformation that occurs when a slender structure under compression fails to support the applied load. Yielding, the permanent deformation that occurs when a material stress exceeds its yield strength. Thermal conductivity and thermal insulation. Thermal conductivity, the ability of a material to conduct heat, often measured in watts per meter Kelvin. Thermal insulation, the ability of a material to resist the transformation of heat, reducing heat flow between objects. Friction and drag. Friction, the force that opposes the relative motion or tendency of motion between two surfaces in contact. Drag, the resistance force that acts on an object moving through a fluid, air or liquid. Fatigue and creep. Fatigue, the weakening or failure of a material over time due to repeated cyclic loading. Creep, the slow, time-dependent deformation of a material under a constant load or stress at elevated temperatures. Buckling and deflection. Buckling, the sudden, often catastrophic failure of a structural member due to compressive loads causing instability. Deflection, The deformation or displacement of a structure or component under load. So these are the few, the similarity of the terms are sometimes they may ask whether you know or not, whether because once they want to confuse because they chosen this some of these words. I hope everyone can understand these similarity words.